Hello guys, this is TLDW here. So this is Line Tower Wars arcade mode from StarCraft 2. It's free to play if you want to play it, and I will just teach you the game. So first, I'm top 10 player at the moment. I'm around 1.5k. We can't see the leaderboard on the replay sadly. And this is a replay of a game of yesterday with El Mundo, which is second on Europe at the moment, and TBF, which is top 50, and the other are just players that don't play often and are bad at this game, like most players will. And to be honest, I'm a little bored of this game because it's not super balanced, and there is some set of units that is really hard to counter. And yeah, and it's always be the same. And also, you see the positioning is random at start, and usually when there is uh, good players are separate. It's like one big waiting, one low, one big, one low, etc. And usually, what happens is that the first good player that sends his unit to the other will win the game, like 90% of the time, because it's super hard to defend. So, well, basically, I will teach you how to win easily and get top 10 like me. I play like for 2 3 weeks, like 2 3 hours a day. My stat got reset sometime. I have, below 200 game played, so that's what, half an hour. That's like 100 hours. So if you play like 2 3 hours, that's like 1 month of playing, and you get like easily top 10. You can win, like El Mundo has really good stat. I was winning like half of my game once I understand the game, and you see Amundo win like 3 out of 4 games, which is a lot. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if we won versus Amundo or not, and what will happen and how we play versus good and bad players. The key is easy to win. I mean, once you understand the game and the basic rule, it's really hard to not win basically. So the first rule is always send, like always. So you have an income every 20 seconds. So what you want to do is wait the last 3 seconds, send your units, and then the income get here. So you have your plus income because you send units, and then you send unit right away. So you have 2 waves instead of one. At the start of the game, you want to put some Zergling here. Usually Zergling are better than Marine for the early game because, well, you have to know that towers always focus the biggest unit, and the biggest unit is the most expensive one. And so versus like Marines, they will focus the big unit, and if the big unit doesn't die, basically they eat nothing else. While the Zergling will focus, but since they have only a few range, 1.5 instead of 4 or 5, instead of 4, the Zergling will always eat the low west unit, so you really prefer to make Zergling instead of Marines. So let's see what happens. We can go. I will go a bit faster because, yeah, let's go. So you can say good luck, have fun. It's always nice. So I start with a roach. You can also make 1 medic and 2 wolf. I make 2 or 4 zedling. You can make all of them if you want, but you want 1 medic or 1 roach, and then when the roach is here, approximately 2/3, 3/4 of this lane, you send full drone, because drone go 2.75 and watch go 2.25. And basically the speed of the unit is the most important. So what will happen is that the marine will focus the watch, and see, I win kill 4 drone, so I win 11 life. So yeah, in one sense I already win 11 life. So that happened at the early stage, because when the maze get bigger it happens less often that you can combine different speeds. The only exception is with the tank that we will see after that. Here I don't need to dive because I know the ship will die. I see one ship but I don't have no need to build the tower. Oh, there is a waiting here. Just up here. I do the same because the maze is still short and I still alive. You you basically you see there is watch coming. And I know I can make 6 Zergling and kill it, which is okay, but it's okay as well to let him pass because I have so much life more. So now, sadly on the replay we don't see the income, so I will put it here. It's the same, but sadly we don't see it here. So you can always try the income. It's not really the income; it's how much people have money, but it will give you the idea anyway. So I decide to kill the watch. I'm already at 70 life and kill my first noob, my first bad players. So when you have 70 lives, you have 1 gas more, and you will have 1 gas more at 100, 140, 180, 200, something like this. Well, basically, after you only need 100 lives to have the best gas combination. Oh, I can't show here. I will talk about how we defend later. So I do the same. I use a watch that you can also do that. Like when you need go through and go to the enemy, you can use enemy units to cover yours, which is always good. I know it's a marauder, which is super powerful anyway. The marauder need to be nerfed, like to 7 armor or something. It's too strong. Or less health or something, but marauder is fucking strong. It's stupid strong. So you want to like this. So you always want to make one big units and small one. So basically here I just press at the same time some watch, some medic, some. You obviously need to learn the hotkey. It's easy. And if you want to make marauder and watch, you just press DR, 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 like this. It's pretty easy to do. So here I complete my maze. So about maze, the best on early game is like this, and you put one stalker here that will kill all the marauder. The problem with doing a thing like this is that marauders, since they have 10 armor, they take only 1 damage from the basic tower. So you basically spend this money, which is like what? 20, 80 times 7, like 350, maybe a bit more. Like you spend like 400 of money for basically nothing. Because it's not useful versus marauder and you will face marauder a lot. So I recommend, and you will see most good player, and Mundo does the same, and I think it's the best for the early. Just do a small maze and then you do here, you sell this one, it's pretty easy to do. Okay, so I just press watch and marauder because I see some people just send the most expensive unit each wave, which is not so bad of a strategy, but the problem is you don't threaten the life total of people. They will not defend, just lose one life, and at some point they will just ignore this, make max income, and then defend easily with like some photon or some shit like this. But here, instead like of making uh, only marauders, I make one marauder and one watch. So instead of one marauder that is 225, it's 300. And so I basically pay like 1 fund more to threaten 2 life instead of 1. And marauder has 1k, watch has 500, and marauder has armor. And since it's the most expensive unit, marauder will tank everything basically. So it's like the watch has armor as well basically because so yeah you always want one tank that will tank basically the damage, so high health or high armor or both, and then small units with speed, but it would be more relevant later in the game. So we just send now I can basically just send without looking at what my opponent defense is, because you just send the best. Like you can send only marauder, medic or marauder watch at the early stage of the game, and whatever defense it is, it will be hard to defend, and that's the problem of the game. Armor units are too much, are too strong, like really too strong. So I could make, I could upgrade this one. As well, you want one big tower and a lot of small to make your maze. You obviously make your tower at the center, so it hits at max range everything. Here it hits more than if it was here or here. You don't have to be a genius at mathematics to realize that when you're in the center of the room, it's easier to go everywhere than when you are at one wall. It's the same here. Now I send max watch and one tank, which is the first chase of the game, and you will usually steal 10, 20 life or even kill someone. I think I killed yellow here because yeah, he managed to kill the tank, but still like 16. You can also send a tank and mask probe. That is a bit more cheesy. It's basically the same. It just watch would be more tanky. I don't know which one is the best. The two of them are good. So basically, if you don't know the unit, the tank give 15 armor to everyone that is nearby and 20 regen, which is a lot. So first, like everyone is no marauder basically. Plus it heal if it was damaged. And so this is a perfect send when you have like 5k. I guess we are near 5k. Yeah, see going at 5-6k. You make mass watch or mass whatever low cost unit with effective HP is nice, like sentry or Avarok or watch. Then you make the tank, and you can even make the Odin, which you'll be why we need the Odin. But the Odin has a great armor, and since it's more expensive than the tank, it will protect the tank. And then you make some warpig for the aura. So you basically have all the aura, one tank, one aura, and so he has to kill this, then if return your 50, 60, 70 watch, which is super hard to counter. And this or 2 Odin is basically the same cost. Okay, 3 Odin, Twitter or whatever this guy name is the same cost, but this one is really threatening because you will see what happened. So I finished my maze, so it's a bit bigger now that I have a lot of money to spend. And he has to make the stone zero that are AoE, which is a nice defense versus this strategy. And I do the same, because I wasn't looking probably, I was building my maze, so I was like, why it is not dead yet? So versus this, AoE is a good strategy because it doesn't care which unit it attack, it just attack everything at the same time. But the problem is, if you with this strategy you force usually your opponent to take into AoE, so he has gas, and we will see later in the game you have to pick the photon tech. If you don't pick the photon tech, you lose versus hydrid or opalite or in the late game. And you have to get laser as well, because if you don't get laser you lose to river, which are the late game unit that we can see um, here. So basically, when you take the ponder, you take the photon, you take the beam. At 15 minute mark, you gain one gas, you get the laser, and you don't need AoE. And if you gain life, you get the AoE. But if you take into AoE and don't steal enough life to have gas, you will lack some tank. And if you have no photon, Mass Operator will win easily versus you. And if you don't have laser, Mass Weaver will win versus you easily. So now I do, since I see that he has AoE and shit, I go for Impaler and steal the Odin and tank, because Impaler start at half health, they gain the bonus regen with the tank as well, and they have a lot of HP compared to the roach. So they survive now. The Odin is still tanking. The Odin dies, still the tank somewhere. The tank is dead. Yeah, he has the mega beam. And yeah, he defends a lot. So even if yellow is not dead yet, you can see he has a shitty income. He has 5k while other has 15. And when your defense ratio is above 1.5, you lost the game. At this moment, basically. Okay, sometimes you can go up to 2 or 2.5 and people will not exploit it because you play versus bad people. But on high level game, if it's red, you lose. You defend too much and your income is low and he will attack relentlessly. So on the defense, you want to do this. Be sure to not sell everything and threaten that unit goes through your maze when you are selling the work and shit. Basically, this is maybe not the best, but uh, it doesn't matter a lot. Just do a big maze and put high range tower like beam in the middle, and that's the best defense you can have. So now I send Usadak, which are good versus usually everything. So you as well, I send one big and a lot of small. It doesn't get through. So we'll get then to the next cheese will happen soon. I call it cheese. It's not really cheesy, but it's more like power spike, like in Hearthstone when your deck uh, can suddenly OTK or has a big tempo turn or something. So this is one of the big power spike. So the first one is at 2k income you send Mass Roach and a tank. And the next one is at 30k you send tychus and pygalisk or queen, whatever, doesn't change much. And tychus is super hard to kill because he has a lot of armor and a lot of regen. And the pygalisk or the queen behind can't die while Tychus is alive. Tychus dies sadly. And well, so you're like, okay, this sucked, but remember that this guy is super defending. So I go with the queen, no, which is basically the same. At home I have some infestor coming, so I upgrade to mega, nothing really interesting. It's more important to be good at offense than defense, because if you are really good by what unit you send, you will win a lot of game. I mean, it's also obviously important to be good at defense, because if you don't defend correctly, well. Okay, and now this is the third power spike at 50k. So at 50k you make Egon Stetman, the Terran scientist in the Wind of Liberty campaign, that is high HP and give plus 20k life to everyone, but this bonus is capped at 300% of the life of the unit. So with the speedwheeler, which have 5k health, uh, they have the max bonus and queen as well. I mean, no, this should be 25 without the cap, and they have only 20k, but it's a lot. And so, and the queen, which is 10k, now has 30k. So you basically make Stetman, which is 50k. It's what nice to the hydrid, which would give, so as you see, this over, and the speedwheeler, which was 5k life, now has 4 times more life. So you make Stetman, then you must make mass speedwheeler or mass queen. Both are good. Queen has more HP, but that's slower. I think speedwheeler is a bit better. I think I discovered this strategy the first, because I see some guy doing it with other unit, Statman and other, I don't remember. And then I did the math to find what are the best two units, and I see a lot of people copy me, but yeah, that's the game obviously. Maybe I'm not the first, I don't care, but it is super powerful, because now the tower have to kill Statman that have like 150k HP, which they usually does, but then they have this, which is super fast. And the only way to counter this is a lot of mega beam tower or AoE, and usually you will steal 20-30 life. It's super powerful. So now we kill yellow. At home I do some mega to defend, and we are becoming like the mid game. You see it's 22 minutes out of 42. Remember, it's not real time, it's 1.3 times faster, so it's usually half an hour game. So you see, obviously, as usual, the bad people lose quickly and the best stay, no surprises. So now we attack our better players, so we need to be more careful what we send. We can't make some stupid stuff. Okay, so this is really important. Uh, so a lot of people send the wrathwalkers at. I wish I was sending on the good screen. So I send again the mass speedwheeler. Okay, since we have the screen. So one of the biggest mistakes I see from bad players that are not so stupid is the wrathwalker. So you need to win. Yeah, I know it's fucking hard, but if you want to win this game, you need to read what a unit does. So read this with me. Life 20k, shield 30k, special gain shield based on how on the mace cross to income ratio. So basically, if your opponent is over defending, it's super OP. If your opponent is under defending, it's shit. Like real shit. Like me, I have like 0.3, so this will be 0.3 times 30k. Yes, that is 10k shilling. So that's 10 plus 20, 30k total. So you spend 10k mineral for 30k life. And next you have the Queen of Blade. That is 1/4 more expensive and has 80k life. So if we put 1/4 less, it's 60k. So basically, I will spare you the math, but if defense ratio is above 1.3, 1.2, do it yourself. You can also send the auto seal up, which is 9.2 from the other one. It's pretty nice as well. But if the defense ratio is basically bigger than 1.5, let's say 1.5, you send wrathwalker. If it's lower than 1.5, you send Queen of Blade. That's it. But don't send wrathwalker to 0.3, 0.5 defense. It's stupid. You feed your opponent, which will defend easier. So I see that and I do a mask Queen of Blade. Also, you can note that since Tower attacks the most expensive units before sheathing with sending mass speedwheeler, which are boosted by stetman, you probably want to send a lot of slow and expensive units like the twerk or anything that is slow and expensive and has a lot of HP, so they will stay on the maze, and then the tower has to kill here. Here the tower has to kill the Queen of Blade before killing a speedwheeler, which is hard for him, so everything go through, and blue is dead, yes. Yeah, blue, which is a 1.1k player, so pretty decent player, just lost in 1 minute because of sending the good units. And now we send to El Mundo, which is top 3 Europe player, so blue get mad and is fair play doing that, so I appreciate it from StarCraft player that they are not stupid, like fuck you, like League of Legends or Heroes of Stone players are using more mature and say GG, and while you play well, it's really nice to be phenomenal, so keep that. So I go to El Mundo, I see defense is 1, so I send the hybrid and some Queen of Blade behind, which is strong. You can send the hybrid, which anything that has 3 speed beyond, it's good as well, but hybrid with Queen of Blade or hybrid with wrathwalker, if defense ratio is above 1.5, is pretty good. So now I basically win the game. Actually not, because he is just finishing the guy. So you see wrathwalker is super strong here, because this guy has 6, so the shield is 6 times 20 or something. And when it will go to me, which is 0.5, the shield is now 15k. So for me it would be way easier to kill, because it's 35 when it was 145, so it's 3 times less HP. So yeah, just now we will focus more on defense. And now the game begins. There is the 2 best player remaining in the game. This guy is really good, and let's see what happens. So when one player gets eliminated, So when one guy die, you will receive a big sand, and you want to prepare this because some people just don't prepare, and you can just swarm them with a lot of sand, and they just didn't do enough defense in the guy. So I don't know if I had this before, but I will probably upgrade my AoE defense right now. Yeah, I'll do a bit more. So yeah, I do photon to kill hybrid. Photon has the best tower to kill hybrid. I do AoE because it will just hit everyone but photon. And here it's fun because we have the same amount of life. Sadly, and Mundo didn't think it was funny. And now the game begins. We have yeah, we're approximately the same in round 5, which it's there is too much numbers so it counts. So I will go a bit faster but pause at each thing. So he has 4 photon and some mega, which is a good defense. The only thing missing is AoE, but I can't really exploit that. So at 5,000 to 1 million, you just send massive hybrid, it's super good. Yeah, I didn't. After the 50k power spike, there was like the 100 and shit. Why you just make one hybrid and a shit ton of Queen of Blade or wrathwalker. And hybrid is fucking OP because one fucking 1000 armor. It's never bad, like never bad, because AoE does really less damage to this. If you have like 10 of the best AoE tower, it will kill them, but it's costs 1 million, which is super expensive. So you have to make photon. To photon is 60k for your unit that is 40k. So it's really just nerf this hybrid, please. If the guys that made the map watch this, please nerf hybrid to less health or less armor or whatever, but just nerf this shit, please. I'm not whining like I lose to hybrid. I win too much with hybrid, which is not fun. So we'll just see what we send. Oh, you can see my income by seeing my minerals top right as well. So I gain some life with that build. So he do what he has to do, so my defense is basically the same. So that's also sad, the defense. Photon with Templar is super strong. The only thing is like the monstrosity and brutalisk that is weak too, but otherwise it's super strong. So everyone go for photon and that priest because it's the best. So yeah, the game is not well balanced. It's not really creative. It's always the same sense that's for the same defense, and if you deviate from this, you lose fast. So the trap versus the mass hybrid is to make a lot of photon. You want to make a lot of photon, but you have to make some Templar as well. I mean Dark Priest, because while they only deal 800 instead of the full wine 1k 1.8k. But if you only do mass photon, there is two things that will kill you for sure. The first and the most effective is Mass Dark Templar, because Dark Templar has 2k hardness, and it will just, instead of 12k, they receive 2k, and you can win versus anyone with Mass Photon with full Dark Templar. And the other one, most known, is Ultralisk, will dodge half of the attack of the Photon, which is super good. But Dark Templar will lose versus the Great Death, while Ultralisk will not. So it's up to you which one you send, but as a defender you always want a mix of tower. If you do only photon cannon, it can send a lot of units or units with hardness, or both, like Mass Dark Templar, lot of units because it's a slow attack and has a low range, while this has a high range and a fast attack. If you only do Templar, it send mass armor, tank, operator, etc. If you do only AoE, mass armor as well. So armor is super good because it forces photon, and if you do too much photon, you go for harness unit. So yeah, the game is sadly not balanced and a bit one way, which is why I will stop to play this game after this video. After teaching you the game, I hope it will get balanced soon and get a little more funnier and more diverse, because yeah, it just basically who makes the most hybrid. See, we are two from the top 10 player in Europe and we just smash the same unit, which is too easy, you know. At first you have to make unit think, and now you can just mass destroyer, mass hybrid behemoth, sorry, and win. So I steal some life, it's pretty even at this point. So I see that he has a lot of photon and only beam, so I'll go for Mass Dark Templar, and you will see that it's quite effective. And when you do this, you also want to do the counter of what you are doing, because the guy will see, oh, he sent a lot of Dark Templar and they go through, I should do the same. So prevent this by doing the appropriate counter. So he sent monstrosity a bit early, but it's fine. Monstrosity is super strong as well, they should be nerfed. They take a lot from AoE as well, so the defense versus them is just one wall of top AoE tower, the sport roller, and then they die. But when you don't have this, they are just better than the Uber Marine for faster edges. Super strong. So I will lose some life to monstrosity, but I send a lot of DT. You see the immediate response from El Mundo, he goes for Templar, and I make some more AoE, I make some laser which are good versus everything that has no armor. And now I try the Ultralisk because why not? It still has a lot of photon. And I steal a bit more life, but it's still close, you know. We don't know who will win, we have still a close income. I'm a bit ahead on income, I think. You just swipe the guy and win number, but it grows fast. So obviously he has no AoE, so I go for full monstrosity. This is not enough, clearly. But he has a lot of Templar, and Templar does a lot of damage to your unit. So this I don't like. He sends a hybrid destroyer which get huge bonus when you're ahead of income, but here is not ahead, so you just want to go monstrosity or marine, the Uber Marine instead of this. The Marine is just way better. It has a less. It's the same speed. It has 100k HP less, but it has 40% reduction. So you never want to send the destroyer if you're not ahead of income. I think the first bonus comes when you have 1.5 times the income of the other one. And this unit is OP, but it's okay. It's OP when you have at least 2 times the income of the other opponent. But since you will win anyway because you have more income, this just make the game 10 minutes shorter because you will just send massive with destroyer and win. way faster. So if you have 2 times the income and you have 1 million, you send him with destroyer all the time. It's super strong. It is the last power point. Power spike, not power point. Let me drink a bit. Okay, so this is clearly a mistake. You should send Marine and not this. So I send the monstrosity, they die. Try again. And it try again. So this is probably a mistake from both of us. I mean, mine die at the end of the maze, so it's probably okay to try again. But when you see something dies in the maze, usually you want to try something else. Maybe it won't get through, but maybe your opponent will be scared and react by making more towers, and if your opponent overdeath, he will lose. So some get through, I believe some get through as well from him, because they are not optimal, but he sent a lot of them, so well, a lot of shit. It's still a lot of shit. He should make more AoE for sure, and he doesn't. I make more laser because once again laser are the best versus non-armor unit. And yeah. So it chose to go to upgrade from death instead of making a wall. I mean a line of AoE. He should make a line of AoE because Brutalist would come anyway if he has no AoE. So he still some knife. So now we send a lot. He has still no AoE, so I should just send monstrosity until you have 1/9 of AoE. I should just do that, so I do that. I do more laser because well, you got it. And even a lot of AoE is good versus this. So my monstrosity goes through. I'm ahead now because of him sticking to hybrid instead of sending Marine and not defending correctly. So now he realize, well, he upgraded to Tor, but it's still not enough, sadly. And he did hold and not send this time. So now he sees that I have a lot of laser and some death, and he go for the operator. So the operator is the most OP unit versus non-photon, non-death, because it has 2.5k. AoE max is 2k, laser mass is 2.5. I mean, I don't talk about the Tor and the other, which are basically just worse than the crawler and laser in most situations. So this is the nuts versus non-death and non-photon. And since I have not much of them, this is a white sand, so this is well played from him. He still need to make a wall of AoE. So he did make more. Okay. So he did make more. Now I send my wings to see if they go through because I don't know honestly. And I'm really ahead of lice. But the operator goes through as well. I lose 20 lives, so I make more death to defend. And he has a lot of death, so Marine not really getting through. So you want some Hydralisk basically one shot everything, but have a super slow attack. The one shot Operator, the one shot Brutalist, the 3-shot Weaver, which sucks, and 3-shot Zemnaga, which are the ultimate unit. But they are good, and if you have the gas, make them because it's always nice to have some. I send the battle cruiser. When you have 10 million, you send the battle cruiser no matter what is happening, because it will the price will go double. So the first one is super strong and the other one are okay. So I send the Mazel Naga, which is a good idea. And I'm a bit late because I made the battle cruiser, but I see that, well, river doesn't go through. So I go for the Mazel Naga as well. He did stole me a lot of life. He go for the battle cruiser as well, he's a good player, obviously. So when this happen, uh, basically it's one of the only time, and it's the last power spike. The idea is to not send for like 3 or 4 times, and then send everything in the Naga construct, because the maze has a limitation. You can have a max number of tower, and tower once fully upgrade, well, you can't upgrade them more. So if you send one wave of Zelnaga, one wave of Zelnaga, one wave of Zelnaga, they will die. I mean, a bit will stay. But if instead you do nothing, and full Zelnaga, you will steal a lot of life, and that's how you kill your opponent late game. You do nothing for 3 turns, and then you send all Zelnaga. Or obviously Weaver or Brutalisk if the enemy has not a good defense. So this is the best defense in the game. A mix of death and laser. Death kill operator, laser kill Weaver. AoE to kill the Brutalisk. And yeah, he has a good defense. I also have a good defense. AoE for the Brutalisk, laser for the Weaver. I usually do more lasers than death, because not a lot of people rely on mass operator usually. And you can make death or idolists, they are basically not the same, but both are good. You can do the math to see which one is the best. I honestly don't know. But laser is better than death versus Zelnaga. So yeah. You can also make a solo game, make your own tower, you can put any money you want, and just try to send whatever late game you need and see what happens. And so I guess I did that. No, okay, I did kill him with Brutalisk actually, because he has not a lot of AoE, and you see do panic AoE here, which is good but will not be enough, I think. And yeah, he did lost too much life, and this Zelnaga a bit slow, and I win the game here. So yeah, I thought I won versus Zelnaga with Zelnaga. Winalisk, Brutalisk are super strong as well, but they are super vulnerable to AoE. So remember, this is a base defense, mixed death, mixed laser, and one line of AoE with a spore crawler. If you have the gas, you can make some Hydrolisk as well. If he sends only Weaver or Zelnaga, you can sell some of your death to make laser. And yeah, so I repeat the most important rule: always send. So you wait at the end of the income and you send 2 wave. I repeat the power spike. So marauder at 225 with roach or medic, both are good. At 2k mass roach or mass medic or mass probe with a tank. At 30k tychus and pygalisk or queen. At 50k stetman with full queen or full speedwheeler. Between 50k to 1 million, you just mass hybrid behemoth until they're nerf one day because they're too strong. If your opponent, well, one you have, yeah, okay. So between 50k and 200k, you go one hybrid behemoth and wrathwalker or queen of blade depending on the defense ratio. Remember, you can click units you send to see the shield of the wrathwalker, for instance. Between 200k and 1 million, you just send mass hybrid, whatever the defense is, it will probably always be the best. So usually it will make too much photon, so if he has too much photon, you do mass Templar or mass Ultralisk. If he made too much Templar, you go for Operator or Stank and like mass upgrade with Stank or whatever. If he has no AoE, mass monstrosity. If you're adding Chrome mass upgrade Destroyer. If you don't know what to send, you send the Uber Marine, which are also always good. And at the end game, if he has too much laser, you send Operator. If he has no laser, you send Weaver. If he has too much def, you send Weaver. If he has no def, you send Operator. If he has only def and hydrid, you send Vanguard, which is always also sometimes forgotten. So versus no laser, Weaver or Vanguard are super good. Versus no AoE Brutalisk, and if you don't know what to send, you just send Zelnaga, and for the end game, you just wait. 3-4 wave and send a full wave of Zelnaga with. You send one battle cruiser, then you wait for wave and you send full Zelnaga, and it hopefully kill your opponent. So that conclude my full guide on how to win this StarCraft 2 mode. I think as you see the game is a bit solved and too easy and always the same thing, so I'm not a big fan of this, so I will stop playing. After getting top 10 in less than 1 month and less than 200 games, which is pretty fast I think. So yeah, it's hard to balance the game, and I'm not saying the guy who made the game. The game is really well made, awesome. The rankings, the income, the panels. It's a lot of work, and I really respect that. And thank you a lot for making this game. But it has its flaw, and every flaw can be exploited. And once you exploit all flaws, while you have a boring game that is always the same. So. Well, that was it. I hope you like it, and maybe if the game will be balanced, we will meet on Europe server and face each other. So, see you guys.